Welcome to the Money and Meaning Show. I'm your host, Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor and the world's #1 clinical hypnotherapist specializing in stress management for healthcare professionals who want to turn a life of stress into a life of meaning and help their patients do the same. Tune in each week. I'll show you how to respond to yourself first. So, are you ready to let go of your stress? Well, let's get into today's show. Well, hello, my past pros. I'm so excited because I love being thankful. And today I want to talk to you about it. Yeah, kind of because Thanksgiving in the U.S. is tomorrow, but also because it's just one of the biggest steps in the controllable, one that people have the most questions about, especially because of one reason. I say, be grateful for your challenges. And many of you agree, I'd say most of you would agree, that 2020 has been a challenging year. Now, it has for me, sort of, kind of, but there's been way more good than bad, I guess. And you probably heard me say I don't really believe in good and bad, but I'm just saying that for lack of a better way to explain it. This year has been incredible for me. As you know, I talked about it not last episode, but just an episode ago. I fell in love with my business again. We shifted our target market a little bit, and I fell in love with our target market. They are so, I call it self-full, like they're full because they want to give of themselves, but they had been depleting themselves. And so they got resentful. And I'd even say you need to be grateful for that challenge. Be grateful that your challenges are so big that they shift you into a different way. And we had a great business. We were running a successful business, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wasn't where I wanted it to go. It wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And years ago, when I say years, I mean many years ago, I said, I will alleviate human suffering associated with money. These were words that I wrote down after understanding the power of my subconscious brain. And because I understood the power of my subconscious brain, I understood that other people could too, and that I'd be willing to teach it to others. And that new target market, they reach so many people. Like, how many times do you see your doctor? Some people see their doctor several times a year, once at least though, right? And just imagine how many other people that doctor or that healthcare professional sees. So they can reach a lot of people. So if I touch the lives of people who reach a lot of other people so they can touch their lives, I'm in turn touching all of those lives. But it took a challenge for me to make that shift and remember my mission to alleviate human suffering associated with money. That is it. That is what I do. That is why I wake up in the morning. But it doesn't mean every single day is going to be rainbows and roses and unicorns. I'm laughing because I just joined a group called the Unicorn Club, and oh my gosh, there are some people just like me. And how is that possible? Right? I know, but also thank God it's possible. I have two things that I want to share with you today. One is about being thankful for your challenges, which I already said. The second one is about being thankful or grateful just because. And then I'll give you some time to feel what it feels like to be grateful. I'm going to walk you through a little exercise. How does that sound? I really want to impress upon you. I mean, really want to impress upon you that gratitude is the key to peace of mind and a healthy body. It's inevitable to reach these things. It's inevitable when you are in gratitude, when you are constantly in gratitude. It's easy to have peace of mind. And it's much easier to have a healthy body because your body is not as stressed or acidic. And it's not as inflamed. And so things are working in concert properly. Once you begin to think from a place of gratitude, everything in your life just changes. Now, you might not believe me. Why? Because you might feel like you're already grateful and things still suck sometimes. Well, that's because I'm not saying that things are going to be perfect all the time, which is why I said you've got to learn to be grateful for your challenges. So here we go. Today, and if you've taken the Control the Controllable course, you're familiar with this because it's day 4 if you took it on Insight Timer. It's step 4 if you took it in our program. And this idea that gratitude can come even when things are not okay is hard for a lot of people, especially Americans. It's because we've been taught that when things go well, we should be happy. When things don't go well, we should not be happy. And that creates a lot of human suffering. You suffer for no reason when you ask for things to go well in order for you to feel okay. Those are two separate things. You can feel okay even though things are not okay. So that's my question to you. And you might, if you've been listening to me for a while, or if you're my patient, then you know this question. Is it okay for you to be okay, even though things around you are not okay? Yes, that's the answer. I'm just going to answer for you. Yes, it's okay for you to be okay. I've been listening to people talk about this year, 2020, with the COVID crisis, and some people are feeling bad for feeling good. Because I know so many people that have benefited from this crisis, but they don't feel like they can say that. They have to give a caveat and say, well, I know some people are suffering, but I've had some good things happen. Okay. Those two things can happen at the same time. People can suffer and you can be happy. And you don't have to feel guilty for it. Oh, Kanae, how can you say that? If people are suffering, I shouldn't feel happy. Why not? Because suffering is a choice. Death happens. And we don't have to get sad about the death. We don't have to. No, there are some tragic deaths, and they will affect us. Yes, they will. Allow them to affect you. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to become that feeling. You can have that feeling. You can give it notice. You can give yourself permission, but let that feeling know that it will pass. Disease comes, but we can combat it. But the great thing about a disease, it gets our attention. It allows us to do something different. I see this. Oh, this is what this created. This behavior created this. Let me do some other behavior that will create what I really want in my life. But let me first start with being grateful. So I'm going to ask you to do something that might be really, really tough, especially for those of you who have been suffering most through this crisis. I'm going to ask you in this moment if you would be thankful for COVID. Yeah, be thankful for the coronavirus, but not just any coronavirus, this specific strand of coronavirus. I want you to say, thank you, coronavirus, for coming. Thank you for bringing it to us. Thank you for bringing to our attention what we need to focus on, what we really need to focus on. Many of us spent so much time out in the world that we didn't get to connect with our families. Many of us needed to get divorced, but we didn't know it because we were so busy, distracted by all these other things. Thank you, coronavirus, for giving me the pressure to go ahead and say no to things that I have been saying yes to. Thank you for coronavirus, for sitting me down long enough for me to figure out what I really, really wanted in my life. Thank you, coronavirus, for sitting me down long enough to be thankful for what I had. I didn't need anything else. I didn't need to go running around finding things because there was nothing to get. All I had was to just be. Thank you, coronavirus, for allowing me to just be. I don't know how I would have ever done that without you. Thank you, coronavirus, for allowing me to take more precautions. I might have been a lot more risky with my health at this time if it wasn't for you. But because of you, I'm being more thoughtful with my health. I'm even thinking about healing the things that have been in my body for years and years. I'm wondering how I can get healthy thanks to you, coronavirus. Now go ahead, you think of some things. Thank you, coronavirus, for... you can do it. Finish the sentence. Thank you, coronavirus, for... Thank you, coronavirus. Thank you, coronavirus. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I know for some of you that's very, very, very difficult, and I'm so sorry to ask you to do this right now if you're not ready. So if you're not ready, you can go ahead and stop listening to this podcast right now. Because gratitude is a gift, but you might not be ready for that gift. It's just right up there with forgiveness. And forgiveness is tough and you have to be ready for it. But you can come back. You can come back to this podcast when you are ready. Now, I just took you through a short exercise that maybe got you ready. So maybe you weren't ready when I first started talking, but now you're like, you know what? I am grateful for some of those things. So let's keep going. This is how you become grateful for your challenges. You have to really think about, what is it? What's really happening? What have I lost? What have I gained? What will I maintain now that I made this shift? We pivoted so much in our business, and which was tough because we had just did a pivot. So we were like, pivot September, October, November, we were pivoting. Then January, we thought we had it. And then we were like, okay, let's go from here and launch. And then January was slow because we were preparing to launch. February was slow because we were launching, or we thought. And then March happened and it was like, shut it down. And it's like, oh shoot, wait a minute. So everything we thought we were going to launch came to a screeching halt. And we had to make some shifts. I had to throw myself back into one-on-one, which I'd kind of come out of because we thought we were going into group. So I threw myself back into one-on-one, which I am enjoying because I do love one-on-one. Private conversations fuel me. And I've been seeing some incredible healing. So I'm definitely grateful for that. Grateful to be back with my one-on-one patients. So I did that. And now it's time to go back into the group. But this is the time because we shifted our target market. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, coronavirus, for getting my attention. Thank you, coronavirus, for getting me to take steps towards improving my business, improving my health, improving my relationship, improving my household, for cleaning more, for taking steps, for giving people some distance, for even the time that you gave me that I can talk to my friends, for realizing that I want more time with my friends. Thank you. Thank you, business, for pausing long enough for me to say, oh, shoot, let me make a shift. Thank you, last boyfriend, for putting me in a position to break up with you so that I can move on to the love of my life. Thank you, friends, for stepping away and saying, I just can't be your friend. It's too hard. You require too much. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that so that I can say, is this really what I want out of my friends? Yes, I know what I'm clear. I'm so clear as to what I want. Thank you. Thank you, family members, for asking me for so much, more than I had to give, for me to realize, hold on. You can only give what you have, and you have to save something for yourself. So you really can only give from your reserve. So I look at it like a teacup, and a teacup sits on the saucer, and you fill up that teacup. And as that teacup runs over, sometimes it runs over into the saucer. And so as you fill up the teacup with whatever you're drinking, tea, I guess, and let it run over the sides into the saucer, as it may do sometimes. And then you give from that saucer. That's your reserve. That's your extra. But you keep the teacup full. This is what I want to give to you. But be grateful for the teacup and the saucer, but even be grateful when you're empty, because that allows you to take the time to fill yourself back up. It gives you the power to say no and set some boundaries, because those boundary crossing events are really harmful when your teacup is empty. When your teacup is full, you can handle them. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now just think about a challenge that you've had this year. And I know it probably should be easy. You probably have more than one challenge this year. And think about what you lost. Was it something that maybe you needed to let go anyway? Think about what you gained. Maybe it's something you've been waiting your whole life for. And think about what you'd like to maintain due to this shift, this change in your life. Go ahead and give it some thought. Yeah, you can do that. This podcast is brought to you by Presidential Lifestyle, a wellness company focused on wealth in all of its forms, providing the world's best life transformational programs to healthcare professionals, elevating everything from your mind, body, spirit, productivity, and even your business. Every area of your life transformed and optimized for just a few dollars a day. You'll have access to live hypnotherapy, on-demand virtual guides, and continuing education courses, as well as group discussion forums, all available from your mobile phone or your desktop. Get early access to this life transformational program by visiting presidentiallifestyle.com/early. Let me ask you a question. Are you a healthcare or a wellness professional burned out from the demands of what it takes to truly serve your patients and clients? Then Presidential Experience is for you. You need someone to pour into you the way you pour into others. It's time for you to make the shift from putting others first to responding to yourself first. I'll show you exactly how to do it. Right now, we're looking for 25 purpose-driven healthcare professionals to participate in our early access program. I've developed this program over the past 10 years, and I've learned that it can help break through the blocks keeping healthcare professionals from enjoying their life's work. We are limiting access to 25 people because keeping the group small will help maximize the impact. I'm offering to share my techniques with you at a deeply discounted rate in exchange for your feedback and shares. If you join us on this transformational journey, we will work together weekly as I deliver live group hypnotherapy sessions so you can experience it for yourself. I'll share with you the techniques and answer your questions as you prepare to use what you've learned in your own life and practice. Outside of your weekly sessions with me, you can interact with other members to share ideas and success stories. So here's what you're going to do. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/early. If you're even remotely interested in this, don't wait because it won't last long. Go ahead, click the link in the show notes or go to presidentiallifestyle.com/early because there's more to tell you. So I look forward to working with you, and I'll see you soon. Now we're going to put that in the show notes. Be thankful for your challenges. Ask yourself what you've gained, what you've lost, and what you'd like to maintain. Just in case you want to come back to it, it'll be there for you. Because I want to take you to this second part. Being grateful for nothing. Right. You're like, huh? That doesn't make sense. No, it does. Let me explain. So you know how you can be grateful for your car. You can be grateful for your children. You can be grateful for your food. You can be grateful. You can always think of something, your computer, this microphone that I'm talking to you in. You can always find something to be grateful for or about, right? And maybe you've gone through some of these exercises where they say, write down 10 things that you're grateful for. Write down every morning, write down 5 things that you're grateful for, right? But you have to associate that with something. But what if everything was taken away from you? Now, I have lost a lot in my life. And back in 2009 or 10 or something, maybe it was 8, I don't know. Back in the day, I lost a lot, which felt like everything. It wasn't everything. I still had so much, but I still had to be grateful. And then just last year, I got rid on my own. You know, I'm the queen of starting over. I wrote the book on it. Yes, I actually did write the book, The Art of Starting Over, for those of you who don't know, because I haven't mentioned it in a while. But I am the author of the book, The Art of Starting Over. And it's a 30-day guide to creating more power, peace, and pleasure in your life. And one of the things I noticed is that it feels empowering to start over, that you can do that for yourself. And so I do that from time to time. And just last year, I did it and I got rid of so much stuff. But I still had a few things left. But letting go and still being able to be grateful, because you don't have the things, you don't have a bunch of clothes and a bunch of shoes and purses and trinkets and knickknacks and furniture and all the things that, yeah, you can be grateful for your great bed and mattress, or you can just practice being grateful for nothing. Yeah, I just was quiet because I wanted to give you a chance to think about that. And you're like, I don't get it. And some of you are like, yeah, I get it. Tell me more. Well, what if you could just be grateful? Just because. Now, it might take some work if you've never done this before. You might need to first focus on something that you are grateful for. Remember a moment. Remember a time when you were grateful. Just remember it. Like maybe it was when you got a certain job. Or maybe it was something, maybe having your baby. Maybe you were grateful for a certain meal your mom or grandmother made for you. Maybe you met a certain person and that made you grateful. Whatever it is, remember that day. Maybe you went to a certain place, and in that place, it made you feel so grateful. I want you to pull up that feeling, and I want you to hold it somewhere in your body. A lot of times when I feel gratitude, I either feel it in my chest or I feel it in my belly. That's where it starts a lot for me. Right now, it's in my belly. And so I'm just going to feel that feeling, that little bit of gratitude I have for that one time that I felt it. And I'm remembering what it felt like. And for me, it was when I bought my first house. And every single day I would come home, I would just be so grateful for that house. It was the perfect house for me. And because I bought that house, I was able to adopt my daughter. Because if I didn't have that space, if I was living in an apartment, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I had plenty of room. And I was so grateful every single day. Every time I unlocked that door, I just felt an overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And that's what I'm tapping into right now. And you think of yours. And I want you to just see that thing. If it's a place, if it's a person, if it's an object, just see it in your mind. And then feel the gratitude you feel. Feel it. And remember, you're feeling it in a certain place in your body. Feel it there. Now go ahead and just let that image fade away if you like. You don't have to hold on to it. And whatever comes up after is fine. Don't worry about that. Just trust your brain. And feel that gratitude. Yes. Feel it. Now let it expand. Expand in your body. Just let it feeling expand. Expand from head to toe. If you're like me and it's in your belly, just let it push down your legs, your knees, your feet. Then up, 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 up through your chest, your back, shoulders, your neck, your face. Let it cover you. And just let it go out the top of your head and sprinkle down on your body. I know it probably sounds weird, all of this, but just do it and see what happens. And just feel that feeling of gratitude. And now it's just a feeling. It's associated with nothing. Just a feeling because you know what it feels like. And just feel it at the tips of your finger, the top of your head. Feel that feeling of gratitude on your shoulders, your knees, your feet, your toes, even the bottoms of your feet. Just feel it. And now, think of anything, just a symbol of gratitude. What? When I say the word gratitude, what comes up for you? For me, it says praying hands. You know that little emoji, the praying hands? And so that's the symbol that comes up for me. What comes up for you? And whatever it is, it's right. Could be that teacup I talked about. Could be a cross. Could be a heart. Could be water. Could be whatever your brain told you. Trust your brain. And now, anytime you want to return to that feeling of gratitude, just see that symbol. And you'll go quickly and deeply back to gratitude. And you'll need this. You'll need this so often. You'll need this when you're talking to your children and they frustrate you. You'll need this when you're talking to your parents. You'll need this when you're at work, when you're talking to your patients or clients, coworkers. You'll need this when you're going through another crisis in your life. You'll need to feel gratitude for nothing. Not even for your challenges, just for nothing, no reason. Just feel the gratitude and be thankful. And just say to yourself, thank you. 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 And just repeat those words over and over until you feel that feeling of gratitude while you recall your symbol. And let that feeling of gratitude fill you up. And I promise you, when you connect to the feeling of gratitude, things will change in your life. Your body will change. Your thinking will change. The way people treat you will change. You'll smile more. The energy that radiates off of you will just be so different. And people will comment on it. And you're not doing this for these reasons, for people to comment on it. You're doing it just because. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Gratitude. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, yes, it's about to be Thanksgiving, but I don't celebrate holidays, especially not American, people-made holidays that are supposed to be associated with things that I don't believe in. I don't celebrate any religious holidays, or I'm not that big on tradition either. Why? Because I live in the moment, each and every moment. And nobody's going to tell me when it's time to buy my mother a gift. Nobody's going to tell me when it's time to be nice to people. Nobody is going to tell me when it's time to be grateful for the source energy that made me the creator, whatever that is. Nobody's going to tell me when I'm supposed to do that, what day of the year I'm supposed to do that. You know why? Because I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to be thankful every day. I'm going to love my neighbors every day. I'm going to love the person that I love fully and completely. I don't need a holiday to remind me to do that. I'm not going to be distracted by all the things, the outside things that don't begin to really, truly add up to the life that I want. I'm going to turn within. And when I turn within, what I know for sure is that I can love fully and completely. I am capable of that. If I just get all the crap out the way and I just be vulnerable, if I could just be vulnerable enough to love, then I receive love. The more you love, the more you're loved. It's just that simple. The more grateful you are, the more you receive. It's just that simple. And you get really clear on what it is you want, and it'll come to you. It really is that simple. Now, there are some things that have to happen, and I can guide you through those things if we work together. But it's not about material things. And that's the thing. A lot of people want to use this, power of the universe, this law of attraction, this, secret, all of those things, whatever you're calling it. You want to use it to attract money and jewelry and clothes and even love. What if you just use the power of your subconscious mind, that is what manifestation is. If you just used the power of your subconscious mind to bring yourself more peace, because I guarantee you, if you become more peaceful, you'll have more money. You'll have more love. You'll have everything you need, and you won't even need as much. You won't need those material things. I know it sounds crazy, but the more you love, the more grateful you are, the more you allow your subconscious brain to release that old programming that society gave you. Let go of that idea of the American dream, that work hard idea that's just not serving you. The moment you let go of that, the moment you stop collecting stuff, including degrees, those are stuff too. Stop collecting stuff. Stop collecting hearts. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? You won't have to ask that question, because you'll love so fully and completely that people can't help but to love you back. That's the only response they'll be able to give you. It'll take time, but the more you love, the more you're loved. So be grateful for your challenges. Be grateful for nothing at all. Allow the power of your subconscious mind to bring you the peace you need, you deserve, you desire. And I promise you, your life will change. I know I know. I know. Trust me, I do. And I'm so glad you're here with me. So where are we going from here? You tell me. I'm with you. Let's journey together. I'll see you next week and every week after that for as long as we can. You with me? Hey, before you go, I'm wondering, are you a CEO who is starting to feel like it's time to manage your stress rather than just tolerate it? Have you gotten to a point where you rather be appreciated for who you are rather than what you've done according to society's rules? Would you like to enjoy your success with less stress? If this sounds like you and you're interested in seeing if you're a good fit for working with me and my team over here at Presidential Lifestyle, then here's what I'd like you to do. I invite you to head on over to presidentiallifestyle.com and book a private conversation with me. It's not free. My time is valuable, just as valuable as yours is. And for that reason, I'm going to pour into you for about 45 to 60 minutes. You pay a small fee in exchange for a lot of love. So we can get to the bottom of what's stressing you out right now. I'll listen to your goals, accomplishments, and even your challenges. And I'll tell you more about me and my process too. You'll get to ask me questions, and I'll give you a few tips and resources that you can start using immediately to reduce your stress. It'll be worth your time and your money. I promise you that. At the end of our call, if we believe that we can work together successfully, I'll share with you the fastest way to get to where you want to be using my program. At Presidential Lifestyle, we help CEOs all over the world navigate through stress and turn their money into meaning. To see if we can help you do that same thing, head on over to presidentiallifestyle.com or simply click the link in the show notes. All right, go now. I'll see you there. Talk to you sooner. Thanks for listening all the way to the end, my Prosperity Pro. I want to stay connected with you. Here are 4 ways. Pick the one that works best for you if you want to stay connected with me. 1. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Send them to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. I'd love it if you would make a 1 or 2 minute audio message and attach it to an email. That'd be the easiest way for me to get it. Ask me anything about creating a life of meaning over money, and I'll get you an answer. Remember, the email address is podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. 2, subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends, because you guys might want to have a discussion about it, especially if they're a CEO who wants to shift from the old American dream to a life of meaning. 3, we try not to have any sponsors on this show unless they are truly in line with our values. I mean, really a good fit. So that means we fund this podcast ourselves. I'd like you to take a look at our resource page to see if there's any products or services that we recommend that are right for you. If not, no worries, maybe later. If so, please use our affiliate link to purchase. Thank you in advance for doing that. You are such an amazing person. Okay, 4 and last. If you want to know what's happening over here at Presidential Lifestyle and you want us to email you the update, then go to presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. And you'll see the current updated blog for the week, but you'll also see a link to subscribe to that blog. We can email it to you if you like. That's presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/now. Don't worry, you don't have to remember that link or any links. They're all in the show notes. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you're enjoying this podcast, go ahead and leave us a review and tell us how much you're enjoying it. And now for the legalese. This podcast is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice is from a professional who knows you and your specific situation. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and for informational or entertainment purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional that you can discuss your specific situation with. Whether you choose us or someone else, one-on-one counsel is important, whether it's a financial, therapeutic, legal, or other decision. So that's all for now. I'll see you next episode. And remember, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you'll soon see it.